We are all touched by what she has accomplished. I'd like to call upon Ariella Walfish to accept this. The next award is called Torah and Derech Eretz. This award goes to a young woman who has taken both her Jewish and secular studies very seriously and has achieved academically, while simultaneously displaying exemplary midot to both her teachers and peers. I have never heard her utter an unkind word, seeing only the good in others. She is a doer as well, overseeing many school projects, including the yearbook. She's a true example of the teaching Torah in Derech Eretz. I'd like to call upon Daniela Schlacher. To our valedictorian award, a very big thank you to a young woman who really has no job description at all. Whatever the need is, she is called upon to fulfill it, to pinch hit, and she does it all with responsibility, maturity, and grace. I'd like to call upon Eliza Lipner, our Bat Shea to accept a small token of our appreciation. She's going to kill me for this one. Valedictorian. This award goes to a young woman who has excelled academically in both Jewish and secular studies. Her success is the result of ability, diligence, and determination. She is focused and does not settle for mediocrity. She is a mature, sensitive woman who is appreciated by her teachers and peers. Although she is so accomplished, she never draws attention to herself. We are so proud of the many important qualities and midot which she embodies. It is my honor to call upon Juliet Trescalo.
A big hand for all of the awardees. Dear friends, this year I had the privilege of accompanying the class for my 4th trip to Poland. Actually, after the 3rd trip 2 years ago with the school, I felt I was done. But then Dr. Fredman asked me to go again, along with Batya Jacobs and Shelley, and our guide, John Phillips. And after spending very intense time with many from this class, I'm really glad I went. 2 of these travelers, Daniela Schlacher and Ariella Walfish, have a very special place in my heart from the early days. And so I would like to call upon them at this time for their reflections.
Several months ago, my friends and I embarked on our trip to Poland. Even though we had been learning and studying the history of World War II and preparing for our experience at Yad Vashem, nothing could have fully prepared us for the actual experience. Quite frankly, I was uncertain that I would be able to connect to something that happened over 70 years ago in a personal way. But during those 8 short days in Poland, the experience was so immersive that there was no escaping the overwhelming emotional and physical responses to the haunting memories and tragedies that occurred there 70 short years ago. For me, and I'm sure for many of my classmates, our visit to Yara Yeladim was the eye-opening moment of our trip. Our guide, John, told us to sit alone for self-reflection and to internalize the tragedy of the children's forest. I sat on these steps, between these mass graves, and I felt confused, sad, and alone. Really alone. But then, after some moments of solitude, I sensed movement. We were being drawn to each other. Whether it was a close friend or someone I had yet gotten to know, the hug, the eye contact, the squeeze, the unspoken feelings were understood, and we knew how each other was feeling. And just knowing that we all felt the same way created between us a feeling of achdut. We seemed to understand that one shared feeling created an unbreakable bond between us and our present and our past. Our trip would not have been made possible without the hard work and patience of Mrs. Jacobs, Shelley, Rabbi Adler, and John. We thank you. We thank you for your tireless effort. Although it's difficult to fathom the feelings and hardships experienced by 6 million Jews, you have helped us create personal memories that will remain with us forever. The experience in Poland was not only about learning the history of the Jewish people, but also an inner journey that helped me discover who I am and how fortunate I am. But most importantly, I came to appreciate our little country. As Jews, we have never been in more control and responsible for our own successes, failures, and destiny. Medinat Yisrael has become a strong force for morality, and we will never be defenseless victims again. On this trip, I got the chance to know my friends on a deeper emotional level, as well as others who I didn't know so well before. We all opened up to one another during these 8 days, whether it be about the trip or other things we struggle with in our personal lives, and I felt that I always had someone to lean on or to lend a shoulder. I believe that an important aspect of my inner journey was the longing to return home to Israel, to leave the land of the dead for the land of the living. It was an experience I'm lucky to have shared.
Exactly 4 months ago from today, we left for our trip to Poland. So many memories, good, bad, fun, scary, and real. I remember the first day we got there. No one was really prepared. We were all freezing and didn't know what to expect. We didn't do anything too intense the first day because, well, we just got there after a long trip. We were introduced to our bus driver and security guard, Jake and Robbie. We learned a few Polish words, and we all got comfortable in our new home for the week, the bus. By the second day, we already kind of got used to the schedule. We didn't have so much time to get used to anything, so we just did it regardless. We would start off easy, and I would think, okay, this isn't too bad, and then realize the day was not over. Every day we did so many things in so many places, and we learned so much. It was a very emotionally confusing trip. One moment we were all together having a good time, and the next minute we're in the scariest places not really knowing how to deal with it. Sorry. Everyone took everything in a different way and at a different time. Most nights we would all get together and sit in a circle and talk about anything really. Either how we felt, what we did that day, how we took it in, and what we would do with ourselves when we got back home. Coming home was probably the hardest part for most of us. It was a difficult transition to come back so abruptly after the hard and intense experiences from that week, and then moving on to our normal day-to-day lives. Like, what were we supposed to do with ourselves? I remember right when we got back, we had our Til Shnati, and then it was Purim. So we didn't exactly have time to adjust. It all escalated so quickly, but we all somehow managed. When people would ask me how it was when I got back, I actually didn't know what to say. It felt like the only people I could really talk to were the ones that were there with me and went through the same experiences. Everyone was always there for each other, whether it was giving out tissues, holding hands, or just knowing that even when there was nothing to say, you knew you could always just turn to the girl next to you and hug them. It was an indescribable trip, and I couldn't have asked for a better group of friends and teachers to go with. I wish everyone would be as fortunate to have a similar experience. It was one that I know I'll take with me for the rest of my life.
Thank you for those two very beautiful reflections.
There's going to be a montage.
Oh, okay. Monte away.